Hello, today a very nice three mover by Uri Avner. It's a problem that is fine to solve. If you want to try immediately. I just recall the simple things. White is down, the pawns are going up, the pawn f6 is blocked, the pawn h7 is close to promotion, and the black pawn go down if it is useful, and the pawn d2 is blocked. Let's have a look at the jail of the black king. The queen on c5 is controlling d6, d5 and d4. The rook on a4 is controlling d4, e4, f4. The knight is controlling f5. f6 is a flight. If the king goes to f6, you'll have h8 queen. The king will not be able to go elsewhere than g5, and then we'll have queen to h4, gives mate, because the knight is controlling f5 and g6 and the rook is controlling h4. You have a battery queen c5, bishop d5, but we can't see immediately how to use it. And you have a battery bishop b2 to king e5, controlling also f6, but the white king also is in a completely closed jail. d2 is controlled by the rook, d3 by the queen, c2 is controlled by the bishop, also c4 is controlled by the bishop, and king b4 is controlled by the rook. By the way, in the diagram, king b4 or king c4 would intercept the fourth rank and it would give a flight on f4. If you want to solve, you are invited. I give immediately a simple try that is a technical one, and just after I give the solution. The natural try is to make a queen to take the flight on f6, and this threatens only bishop takes on e6. If king takes on e6, or if pawn goes down to d5, then the only mate is queen to d5. If the pawn goes, queen to d5 mates. If king goes, queen to d5 mates. Against this threat you have some defenses. Rook b4, king takes, gives a flight. The king can go to f4, but queen h4 mates. If you go knight to c7, queen d4, king d6 and knight c8. The refutation is rook b5 controlling c5. And now who wants to solve? Again, I invite you to do. I give the solution immediately. The key is rook to g4. It threatens knight to c4, king goes to f6 and h8 queen mates. If the bishop will take the knight, you'll have a mate by king c2 that is opening the white bishop b2 to f6. So the way black can defend this is mainly to control h8 in order to forbid white to promote on h8. First, we'll have a look at rook b8 controlling h8, and this is followed by bishop b7 closing the b column. If the king flights, we'll do this. If the king flights, you have queen on g5, but what is interesting is pawn goes to d5 and king b4, because we closed the line of the rook. Another defense is bishop takes on h7. This is also a defense, because now if you have knight check, king flight, there is no mate. But now also the bishop crossed the e4 square, so now we can play bishop to e4. If the king goes, we'll have queen to g5, and if the pawn goes to d5, now we have king c2 mate, because the bishop controls also e5 and also f6, and of course the pawn is pinned. A third defense is rook h2 controlling h8, bishop g2, because the rook crossed g2, the pawn to d5, and king can go now taking d2 and giving mate. A fourth defense is queen to h3, that is going on guarding d3 and controlling h8. And now we have bishop f3, pawn covers, and king takes on d3 mate. So you have 4 times the white bishop that is closing black lines on b7, on e4, f3 and g2. And this is the main content of the problem, a very, very nice feature. We'll see now more simple defenses. You have rook f4 that is giving d2 but controls the line. It's easy. You have king takes checks, rook covers, and bishop take d4 mate. You have what happens on king goes. King goes gives immediately queen checkmate, and you have also pawn takes on d5, queen takes, king, and knight gives mate on g8, because the knight on g8 controls e7. Well, here it is, a very nice problem. It is in the book of the problems of Uri Avner that we edited with my friend Rafi Rupin, and you can order it at the address below. At Peter Gvozdjak will be happy to send it to everybody. Thank you very much. Bye.